Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtles, count it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turtles. Mutant chain reaction. Turtles. Living underground. Turtles. Ninjutsu action. Turtles. It's a shell of a town.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a 3D action game from Konami that aims to revive the classic cartoon and comic series of the late 80s. The game is based on the latest revival of the Turtles in cartoon form that's on Saturday mornings. So the Turtles are a little different than the classic ones that we all know and love, but they're still pretty similar. You're still going to see the four major Turtles: Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Leonardo. Splinter the Rat is still their mentor. They're all still mutated in some way because of radioactivity. Some of the players have sort of changed because of the new twist on the story. So while you'll see April O'Neil and Shredder and Baxter Stockman and Casey Jones and a number of other familiar faces, they're given a different spin because of the cartoon. The cartoon actually plays a pretty large role in the game. The levels are going to be kind of connected by extended sequences of animation taken straight from the cartoon to sort of give the story some context. But at its heart, the game is pretty much the Turtles game that everybody would hope for, which is a brawler in the vein of Final Fight and Streets of Rage. The biggest update to the mechanics is the very simple fact that it's now in 3D, whereas the classic Turtles games were in 2D. The game has a kind of cool cel-shaded look that it brings the Turtles pretty close to their animated counterparts. The Turtles move pretty smoothly thanks to the use of motion capture for their animation, which adds a bit of smoothness to all the action. The game's basic structure, like we mentioned, is pretty much a brawler. You're going to be going through levels, segment by segment, killing off a certain amount of enemies before you can progress. The enemies that you're going to be fighting range from ninjas, street toughs, robots, Mousers, the standard assortment of bad guys you'd expect in a Turtles game. Now, your arsenal of fighting moves as the Turtles is going to expand as you progress. You'll initially start out with a pretty limited set of moves and a very modest amount of combos, but as you go through the game, you're going to come across segments that are training sessions in the dojo, where if you pass whatever challenge is presented to you, you'll earn a new move, like a jump attack or something else like that. So pretty much by the time you get to the end of the game, you're going to have a fully fleshed out Turtle who can really beat people up in a variety of ways, which is very nice. Now, if you remember the classic Turtles games, the first question on your mind about this new version is obviously going to be, is there multiplayer? And yes, there is. However, there's a slight catch. Unlike the previous Turtles games, this is only two-player multiplayer, which is still fine. Has a very arcade-style feel to it because at any point a second player can pop in another controller and hop in. So it is possible to play with a friend, not as many friends, but it kind of works out all right. The graphics in the game feature a very clean cel-shaded look that keeps it pretty much in line with the look of the cartoon, which is cool. The fact that you're going to be seeing a lot of segments from the cartoon interspersed in the middle of the game sort of give you a better appreciation of the art style. The levels are pretty standard design. You're going to be fighting on streets and moving trucks, construction yards, warehouses, Baxter Stockman's lab, lots of different places, which is fine. There's a lot of variety to the visuals. The environments are interactive to a certain degree. You're going to find boxes that you can break to collect power-ups and shuriken that you can throw and things like that. At the same time, you're also going to find cars and barrels that if you hit them enough times will explode. And once you get the hang of it, they'll start to come in pretty handy for taking out enemies too. The sound in the game is pretty much what you'd expect. Much like the graphics, the game is leaning pretty heavily on material from the new cartoon series. So you're going to be hearing the Turtles' new voices and the new theme song and some music taken from the cartoon, which is all well and good. The Turtles are pretty chatty, and while our preview version of the game is still coming together, we're hoping that the Turtles will actually have a little bit more to say during fights, because once you start to get into the swing of things and begin taking out enemies on a regular basis, you're going to be hearing the same sound samples an awful lot, which can kind of get to be a drag. Overall, we have to say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a pretty solid action game. It maybe doesn't have the sort of really cool addictive quality that the original games did. Can't quite put our finger on why that is at the moment. It is still coming together, so a lot of improvements could be implemented to really make it a tight package. As it stands right now, it's a cool diversion. It's definitely fun for 2 players. There's lots to do, and there's quite a bit to unlock. We found some art galleries and things like that that will open up as you progress through the game, so it's cool. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is currently scheduled to ship on the Gamecube, PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GBA this fall.